Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show episode 277. And in this one, we will be reacting to the FA Cup draw, which has just happened in the second round. We'll obviously be getting into our thoughts on the Forest Green game with more detail, with the player ratings and things like that. And yeah, we obviously talk about bits as well during the ratings, players, formations, and things. What do we think is going to happen going forward at things at the football club? But before we do any of that, Dad, how have you been the last few days?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Good. But yeah, we might as well start off with it before we get into the first round game. So it's come out. Obviously, that's why we're a bit later on the stream tonight. It's because we were waiting for the draw to finish. And even start, because you know what they're like half the time. We got Fleetwood Town in the FA Cup. Now, this is how I see it. You know, it is a game we should win. You know, it is. Let's just be honest. It's not a bad tie, but the fact it's away, they are going to be up for it. They've got a lot of former decent players that played at a fairly decent level. Obviously, they've had former players of ours over the years as well. I'm not sure if they do right now. But obviously, they did have Mendes, Gomez. I think at one point they might have had like Marriott or someone like that. So it's going to be an interesting game. Small ground, do you know what I mean? So they're going to be right up for it. But yeah, how do you react to this as it has come in that we're going to get Fleetwood Town, Dad?
Other teams who wanted a bit local, like Bournemouth would have been all right. MK Dons. Certain teams didn't want anyway because we've got a bogey again. You know what I mean? Grimsby didn't want Stockport as well, right? Because think they're pretty strong. But yeah, it's not bad. Let's see what happens, But like I said to you already, if we beat them, we'll probably end up getting like a Premier League team in the fucking third round anyway. So
yeah, probably. No luck. But yeah, no, I agree. It's one of them where we can definitely win, but we definitely need to be on it because we did concede 3 to a National League side, and they're obviously a league higher. Sitting 10th as it stands, so they will be more of a threat, I would say. So let us know how you do react to this draw that has come out. That we will get them, and yeah, like I said, like you say, I wanted a local team as well, like MK Dons or something like that. It'd have been good. That'd have been good. But yeah, it's like I say, all due respect to Fleetwood, it's not really the opposition I'm feared about. It's just the fact it's away. Do you know what I mean? It's a long trek as well. It is. It's further on than Blackpool slightly. So yeah, let us know how you do react to it. But yeah, going into the game itself on Friday night. So we did watch it together, Dad. Went to this pub to have a little scout of it, and where we were sitting for the game, very, very good. Shout out to, I guess, myself and Jamie for finding them seats. But yeah, it's basically 2 sofas, like a stand-up bit, like where you sit on. And then, yeah, we had a TV right in front of us. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, in terms of the game itself, so going into the game, the lineup, when we did the preview on the Thursday, we said, we're hopefully going to go strong, especially with the fact we don't play for a week. Obviously going into that Stockport game as well, you want to, have, I guess, the stronger players out. So when you do get to that game, the team still clicked a little bit more and things like that. We had Keeley in goal, so that was good to see. We both said we wanted to see him go in goal for this game. Bramall left back, again, we said that. Naismith and Mengi, we did say that. We didn't say Longwick on the right. We actually went with Hakeem, so that was interesting there. Walsh was back in this game again. Obviously, he did play against the under-21s, but back in a, I guess, game against the senior team, if you want to call it that. And then obviously Saville was there as well. You had Richards again on the right, Jones on the left again, like he obviously had his cameo there against Northampton. Lamine in the middle of that, and then obviously Wells up front. So that is a pretty strong team, especially going into this game. And then on the bench, you had El Hamadi. Great to see him finally. Obviously it's been, a while for him to, I guess, get back to recovery and, eventually seeing him play for us. Ali, Anderson, Kadoa, Makoso, Nelson, Hakeem, Shea, and Yates. So very, very strong bench as well, I'd say, especially in this type of game. But we needed that. Like I say, we needed that going into that Stockport game. Obviously they're right up there, top of the league. They're looking really good. Let's be honest. So yeah, we need to go as strong as possible, get ready for that game. And there's a few areas I think we could have went stronger in terms of the lineup. Like for me, right back, we could have put Akeem in, and again, I know he's getting the minutes, but then you could have took him off. But other than that, I didn't really mind it, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, how did you react when you saw that lineup, bud?
Yeah, like I say, we need to be strong. It's good to see like Walsh, Alhamadi, players coming back now. And I think there's more coming back as well. Obviously Jones as well. I think Brown's probably not far away.
Yeah, just quickly on that, Jacob Brown. There was pictures come out in training today, and he was doing shooting. So
yeah, we'll say he might be on the bench potentially for the next game, maybe. But yeah, we needed to go strong, as it proved anyway in the end. So yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah, we indeed need to go strong. But yeah, the first half, I mean, the start of it, similar to a lot of games I felt for us this season, in the sense of, we've like it's been quite sloppy at times. We've struggled to actually get to grips and get a hold of the game. They did have a lot of the ball, and I know having a lot of the ball don't mean anything always, but for me in this particular game, I mean, you're at home against the National League side, you should be having more of the ball. Let's just be honest, especially the way, obviously Wilshere and the staff have said, how they want to implement how we play, be on the ball more, attacking. It was a bit of I guess, what we have seen in the sense of the start. But we did eventually get to grips of the game. There was a few, nervy moments. Jackie has said in the comments here, and I do agree, and we did go mental at one point, let's be honest. Keely's stressing me out, keeps coming out of his area. There was one point was it the first half? Yeah, it was the first half where he's come out, and there's a defender there. Can't remember who it was exactly, but there was someone there, and he's done that a lot. He comes out, and it's just when there's a defender there,
It was Mengi. It was Mengi who was there.
Yeah, Mengi. I know you just chill. Like there's no need to do it. I like that he's confident. For me, he's overconfident with it sometimes, and I don't like it when there's a defender there, because at the end of the day, you should be, considering you're the player behind, you should be communicating with the defender, telling him, right, I'm onto this, because he's done that a lot, and it is, and again, when I said about that moment about dropping him, it's because of moments like this which we've seen throughout the season, But I did want to see him in this game because he is the number one keeper. We have got Stockport. You can't. That is one team you cannot do any of that bullshit against. And I'm going to say how it is. You cannot do that against Stockport. Seriously, because you're asking for trouble. And people might go, oh, but they haven't played the greatest opposition. It doesn't matter. We haven't played the greatest opposition. We struggled to get a flipping win at times, or not even one. So, that's what I will say. But yeah, it's like Jackie says here. He needs to relax on that, because he's overdoing it for me, and it is frustrating because, he does good moments, but then he'll come out like that, and it's just like there's no need for it, at all. So there was them moments, but like I say, we did eventually get a hold and grips of the game. And Naki Wells obviously played very well in this game, as we all know, no pun intended. Obviously, did set up Lamine. Great finish from Lamine. That's 2 out of 2 for him, and we were absolutely buzzing at the time, Dad.
Yeah, of course. Like just before that, a similar play, I think, between I don't know, it was the midfielders and Wells and Richards, and Lamine just hit the shot wide, and the goal was very similar to that. Lovely finish, good play, good forward play, good burst of pace from Wells, and yeah, we deserved that lead. Being at home and just sort of getting the ball down and playing. So yeah, it was a good goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously later on in the half, we had a free kick. Bramall, obviously we all remember his one at Barnet, so we know he can definitely strike in terms of taking free kicks. He did have a shot on target, and then obviously Wells was there to tap it in. Glad that Wells scored. Like I said, I would have played him in the Brighton under-21s game to get a couple of goals for confidence. Obviously, he wasn't in the squad, but he got a couple of goals in this game. And hopefully now we can kick on. I mean, him and Yates have got goals in their last, obviously Yates got 2 in the Brighton game. Wells got 2 in this game. So hopefully now they can get the confidence. And it's like I said in my reaction with Wells, in terms of, I know a lot of people have been critical on the recruitment. I don't mind when we got Wells, because at the end of the day, like I always say, you got 10 goals in your championship in a team that got the playoffs. You know, I don't look at his age. When I look at him, I don't look at his age, because if he's scoring 10 goals in a higher division, he should be doing better. I've been frustrated with him because he hasn't. But hopefully now he can kick on. And when he did score that goal, it looked like he said, something to the players, a bit of banter, obviously the players. And I like to see that. You know, obviously one of the players has said to him, like obviously saying about his form and that, and he sort of went, I've done it, I've scored. So hopefully now we can kick on, because like I said, he got 10 goals in championship. He should be doing good in this league. Like, let's just be real. So, but again, I don't want to overplay him every week, because he is a bit of an older one. And you've got the other options. Like you say, Dad, hopefully we'll see Brown on the bench, in the next coming games, if not this weekend. You've got Yates there. You've got El Hamadi now, so you've got loads of options, and there's obviously other players that can play up front as well, but they're the main sort of ones right now. So, yeah, glad that Wells was there, and fair play to him. People go to tap him, but at the end of the day, he latched onto it. He knew to get onto it just in case it didn't quite work out. It was poor from their keeper, but I don't care how the goals come for our strikers at the moment, as long as they're happening, isn't it, Doug?
Yeah, his experience is going to do that. It's natural for him, and yeah, he just needed that time really, and that's what he's going to bring. And you can see certain pieces and puzzles, or if you like, being worked out now. Especially going forward, we're scoring goals now. It's just that lapse of concentration at the back and the mixing and matching of centre backs and this, that, and the other, which is hindering us at the moment. But that'll be sorted. That'll be sorted out at some point. Do you know what I mean? In the January transfer window mainly, but or when up. Now we've got Hakeem back, that could help balance a little bit. Interesting to see that Makoso is not really being favoured at the moment. I don't think he's done an awful lot wrong, really. He's just been played out of position. But then the players that are coming in, like Longwick, he wasn't great in this game. Naismith in the middle just never seems to work either. Mengi's terribly off form at the moment. So this is going to be interesting to see who we play against Stockport. Because for me, I don't think Anderson's done too much wrong. I think Makoso could play in the middle if you put Hakeem on the right. But we'll see. But yeah, good free kick. Power on target, and Wells, they're anticipating, the spillage is what all good strikers do, and yeah, good finish.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it was quite a way out. So I'm glad that Bramall, had the confidence to actually take on the shot, because what we've seen us do a lot, right? And most teams do it when you have a free kick from distance. They'll like cross it in, but when we do it, it doesn't really work. Or we do a short pass to someone out wide, and then we'll cross it and nothing comes of it. So, I'm glad he actually had the confidence to do that. And too right. I mean, look at his goal he scored against Barnet. That was a wicked free kick. So we know he's definitely got that ability. And, I'm definitely open to, when he is on the pitch, him taking the free kicks, to be honest. And even if he is a left back, he can be the number one taker for me, because he's the one I've got most confidence in based on what I have seen when we take free kicks. So, yeah, that's how I feel on that. But, yeah, we go into the half 2-0. You're thinking, okay, this is nice. This is nice. They make a sub. Well, they make two subs, actually. Knowles, I actually thought he was quite good for Forest Green, I'll be honest. And there goes the Lamine shirt. So, doing what we've done the last 2 years. Flipping keeps falling down. Anyway, oh, yeah, shout out to the new shirt, by the way, in the background. Lawless, come on. That was actually yours, Dad. Give it to me to put it up now. So when we obviously won the conference, hashtag Luton are back on the thing. So, yeah, absolute limbs. But, yeah, like I say, they made two good subs. Well, I felt they were good when they come on. And, again, a lot of their players were. I'll give their players credit. I thought they obviously gave it a good go. But Knowles and McAllister, I thought Knowles in particular was really good, because when he come on, straight after half time, they had a good chance, and it was from him. And from that moment in, I was like, okay, well, we need to be on this. As much as we're 2-0 up, we need to be on this. Obviously, I brought on McAllister as well, who did score the penalty. But then we do, get another goal. Wells, again, he couldn't miss it, but fair play. It was good. You know, it's good play from us, and Wells has tapped it in 2 out of 2. You know, right place, right time again. You know, and that will give him confidence, and hopefully now it can spur him on, like I said. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Wells getting 2 goals. That's what we want to see, isn't it, Dad?
You know, we're getting into their positions. You know, we're enabling that. That's what we were lacking. And obviously that's been worked on, and you know, but it's the wingers with you know Jones's run. I think it bounced to maybe Richards or Walsh in the middle. Lamine with a great cross, like I say, but it's getting in them positions and as a team, not just as the strikers, as a team, and it worked for us. So yeah, right place again to tap it in. So good goal.
Yep. No, absolutely. And then, you know, well, they make a few more subs. So they actually made 4 in, 60 minutes. And I remember when we were watching it, we were like, wow, they've done that many subs already. And then they did score. Knowles did get a goal, obviously the one who, like I say, had that chance. And that was a great goal, to be honest. I mean, when we saw it at the time, we thought it took a deflection, slight deflection off Mengi's head. But looking back at it, it didn't. Great finish. And we have conceded, as much as, we've done individual mistakes and, you look at Lincoln game, you look at the Plymouth game, we've done a lot of individual mistakes. We have conceded good goals, like especially, that goal in particular. There was the goal that we conceded the other week against, who did we play again? Mansfield, the first goal they scored in that game, it was very similar to, like I said at the time, Elise's goal when we played Crystal Palace in the Prem. So that you can't say anything about that finish, to be honest. Like, but yeah, obviously Longwick can do better, but like I've said, he shouldn't be playing there. He should not be playing there, and that's the problem, right? He'll have one good game against Northampton. Didn't trouble us really, other than the end of the game. Let's be honest. We can't keep basing it on a good game against a team that weren't great. I mean, look at them at the weekend and say what you want. Oh, it's the cup. This can happen. That can happen. They got battered. They got battered to lower league opposition. So I'm not looking at that. Yeah, when you have one good game there, you can't do it. We've done it with Makoso. It's not worked. It worked in one game. Same thing with him. It worked in one game. Against the out of form Doncaster team. I don't want to keep seeing it. As we go forward, I want to see a Keane there who can play there. Is more natural to play in there compared to Makoso and obviously Longwick. And you look at the first and third goal in the Forest Green game. You can say he's at fault. Definitely the third one, but the first one is down to him. He shouldn't be playing there. That's how I see it. He should not be playing there, and I don't want to keep seeing it because if I see that against Stockport, we're losing, mate. I'm sorry, we're losing because you can't be doing that. You see that it didn't work with Makoso, after the Doncaster game. You can't keep persisting with it for me. So that's how I see it. But yeah, I mean, it was a great finish, wasn't it? But yeah, the defending.
Well, yeah, you could say yeah, should have done better. They've probably played there a few times before against lower league opposition. So Hakeem's obviously literally just come off the treatment table or whatever. So you can see why, but yeah, but the finish was good. I think it did take a slight deflection off of Mengi's head, which changes the direction slightly, but it's still a good finish, and they're hungry. Them players, because he changed his whole squad. I don't like the bloke, but he's getting the best out of his players at the moment, and he's going with the young players, and they're hungry, and it's a good finish. So yeah, but the next goal, obviously Mengi gets done, chases back, and just runs behind him. They were looking for that as well. It was, you could say it's soft, but contact's there, so that's this capitulating. That's what's still going on a little bit, little trickles of it. It will go, but like I said earlier, we need to get a solid defence. We haven't had that for quite a while. So, playing with the same centre backs, and right and left backs consistently and things like that. So, yeah, good penalty. but then the tide turned, and then they were going for it. And then the third goal, I mean, just how you should have been clearing that at some stage. Do you know what I mean? But for me, the initial part was Keeley coming running out again when there's a defender there. So him and Bramall lost the ball between them, gets delivered across the box. There's 3 defenders standing there, and none of them can get rid of it. Do you know what I mean? And ends up going in, and that was the worst one, definitely. But again, you could say that the communication there, between the keeper and the defenders. Do you know what I mean? Just trust your defender. It seems like he doesn't have any trust in them. Do you know what I mean? And that was part of the reason why we scored that goal. Go and watch it back. You know what I mean? But I still felt, with some of the subs and that we could make a difference. Do you know what I mean? And this is what we should be doing. The quality's shining through. Al Hamadi involved in it. Saville involved in it, and then a lovely pass from Yates, and Kadura's not going to miss from there. And it's right to death, and we got away with it a little bit there because they had chances as well after that. But still, if it had gone to extra time, it'd be a tricky one. But I think we probably would have still edged it. Some people were talking about Al Hamadi playing on the left. Mate, I've seen him score goals, but I haven't seen it. If he can play there, he can play there. I've heard that he's coming cut in positions there. He could probably play there in a front three. We'll see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he's better off as a striker, but when you've got Yates as the target man, which actually worked, can't really complain. And yeah, could do a great finish. I think he's been our best signing so far in terms of attacking. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we did, in the end, we got away with one, but the first half performance was decent, but we've got to cut this out. Do you know what I mean? But we didn't capitulate. We still come back and scored the winning goal, and that's the difference. So that will help as well.
Yeah, no, I'd probably agree. Kadoa best signing, and I know you said predominantly because of his attacking, but I also, again, I always go back to the game, but that Wigan game where he done that sliding tackle from right wing back, I agree. And, you look at the Blackpool game out on the left, trying a different formation, different position we haven't seen him in yet. We know how good he was in that game in bringing on the comeback, you could say. And yeah, obviously got the winner in this game. And, I'd agree. I mean, let us know if you do agree with that as well. Kadoa, is he the signing of the season so far? But yeah, in terms of the game, the second half, when they got 3-2, I knew they were going to equalise personally. I just knew the way we've been and, them having all the momentum. There was moments where, I guess similar to the Cambridge game in the Virtue Trophy, where they would play balls up there and we would just look so shaky. I knew they're inevitably going to get that equaliser, and I was so frustrated when they did. And then obviously they hit the crossbar, before we scored as well. I thought that was in. It was so nervy towards the end of the game. But yeah, Kadoa saves the day, really. But again, like you said, it was good build-up play on the goal. A lot of people, I mean, I personally didn't think Saville was that bad. But a lot of people didn't think he was great. I mean, he had a part to play in the goal. So, fair play to him there.
With that, I just think, I don't know why. Like, he's a scapegoat. Do you know what I mean? Is it because they...
He didn't get a yellow card. If he got a yellow card, I'd have been frustrated. But then I wouldn't have been fully frustrated at him. It'd have been mixed because he shouldn't have been playing.
Is it because he's a CDM? He's tidies up the shit. Do you know what I mean? And plays forward passes where he can. He's not an attacking midfielder. What more? What do they want from him that he's not, that anyone else is doing better than him?
And by the way, the first opening couple of games, right, he was actually having the best chances in the games. The Wimbledon game, remember, he had that shot outside the box, nearly scored. I think there was another game at home. I think it might have been Wigan or someone like that. And that's not his game. Like you say, that's not his game. And we've said it. He needs to be in his own role. I don't like this. I don't like a 4-2-3-1 with him and someone else. I like him in his own bit.
What it is,
Lamine, just quickly, Lamine's shown that he can play higher, right? He's shown that. You know, he's got 2 out of 2. Walsh has come back. Walsh is not a, you know, Walsh done a great tackle in this game. If that was last year, he'd probably got sent off. However, he's an attacking minded midfielder. The only defensive ones I want to see actually doing the defensive work, well, obviously they'll have to come back, Lamine and that in games, but like, is him, the ones I look at as defensive midfielders is Saville, Nakamba, and Lamine to a certain extent. I don't want to see any of the others they're attacking minded midfielders. I don't want to see it. But yeah, go on, Dad.
Yeah, you know, when he's got midfielders in front of him doing their jobs properly and things like that, then he's fine. But if not, like as soon as we took Walsh off, that's that obviously we had to probably because he's managing his minutes and stuff. But that's when it sort of went to shit a little bit. Do you know what I mean? He needs decent players in front of him doing their job so he can do his job effectively. Otherwise, he's kind of running around, clearing up after everyone else. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem. So yeah, there was a lot worse performances out there than him, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, defensively, we looked shambolic, really. And, obviously, I don't like to talk about this stuff because there's fucking idiots in the world. But obviously, Mengi has obviously received racial abuse, which is fucking disgusting. I'm sick to death of idiots doing this. And what I will say is Instagram, that's where it's coming from. That's one of the biggest platforms. Why do they not have a thing where you have to do an ID, to scan, and know you have to show yourself, even if it's not out wide, you have to show yourself to, the people that make it, because anyone can sit there and make an account. And that, for me, that's the only way this stuff is going to stop. If people get IDs and shit, in the sense of they have to show their ID, whether that's a driving license one, a normal ID one, whatever, they have to do that because it's just going to continue and it's absolutely fucking disgusting. And, I said he should be dropped for the next game. I feel he should because, obviously he wasn't great in the game, but there's no need to go to that level. It's fucking disgusting. I'm sick to death of seeing it. It was round about this time last year. We had it with Elijah. Obviously we were going into that Coventry game. He scored, and I'll be honest, I nearly started crying because I was so happy for him, to score and things. But it's disgusting, and it's obviously come out. It's not a Luton or Forest Green fan. It's some idiot overseas, but yeah, whoever that is, they need to be massively punished.
What? But the thing is, I think they can find out who you are regardless, because I believe the Elijah one that's ongoing is going to go through that person is being taken to court, and then they'll name and shame, and that's what it should be doing. Whether it's overseas, I don't give a shit where it is. Just do that, so you responsible for what your actions. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. It's not good, but there's always some idiot, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? But all you can do is just highlight it, I guess, and just take it to the full extent of the law when you can, and that's it, isn't it? For now.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on it because obviously, just it's just stupid. It just keeps happening, and it's just fucking it's bang out of order. Like I've said, you can be critical of the players, but not to that level. It's like I say, you can constructively criticize, but being racist, homophobic, anything like that is fucking disgusting. There's no need for it. I'm so sick to death of it. And even then, I don't want to, throw shots, I guess, at fans, but you even look at a Bradford game. There was alleged to be a Luton fan that's, was being racist to, our players during that game. Why? Fucking why? And I'll be honest, it's like even when I went to, what game was it? Was it Oxford? Yeah, it's Oxford last year. I mean, I'll be honest, like there was some guy behind me and he was going off, like he was saying some crazy shit to the referee and shit. I was just thinking, mate, what are you doing? It's fucking disgusting. But like I say, these people overseas and these people saying it, well, not just them, whoever, they should have to having some sort of ID, like I say. But yeah, Mengi obviously come out after the game and did apologise for his performance as well, and I like to see that, players do that, and take accountability. He wasn't great, but there's no need to go to that level at all.
Other players were.
Yeah. It weren't just him. It weren't just him. No way. Longwick weren't great, even though I don't think he should be playing there. And a lot of other players weren't great. I mean, Keeley didn't have the best of games. I don't think it was his worst game, Keeley, but it weren't great. So a lot of the defence, let's be honest, Naismith was pretty poor, like you've said. I mean, they get man of the match to Bramwell in the stadium. I don't really think he done too much good or bad, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, that's how I see it. I just wanted to obviously touch on that, and like I said on Instagram, do follow my Instagram if you're not already. Obviously, when Luton put the statement out, a strong, hard statement again. Love that from the club because they also did a strong one for Elijah last year. And me and Mike, I remember we briefly spoke on it at the time when he did his fan cam. But yeah, obviously, I said we stand with you. Obviously, put Mengi's at as well. So yeah, it's just disgusting. And yeah, I think the only way it's going to stop is name and shaming, like you guys say, and Jackie said in the chat, like you said that. And also, just they need some sort of verification for me, because anyone can just sit here and make an account and chat BS. Like, there's so many people on, for example, TikTok, they have anonymous account, no profile picture, just chat bollocks. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see it with that, especially Instagram, given that it's one of the biggest in the world. So yeah, we'll go through some comments. Big up to everyone inside. Big up to Paul. He says, "Evening all, common you hatters." Big up to yourself, Paul. Big up to LTFC Edits. Big up to yourself, Naismith, when he scored against Doncaster in your profile picture. Love that. Big up to G1. It says looks like Jack likes both Walsh and Lamine. Similar to himself as a player, although not as good yet. Likely to get used a lot. Yeah, I think Walsh will now. Because like you say, he's similar to Wilshere. Obviously, Wilshere was better, but I know what you're saying in terms of good player technically, good at picking out that pass. I can definitely see him playing a lot more. I just want to see him being higher up. Do you know what I mean? More attacking. Even though, like I said, he'd done a great tackle in this game in the first half. If he'd done that last year, he'd probably got sent off. But yeah, I want to see him higher. Lamine, like I say, I wouldn't mind seeing Lamine do a bit of both because he is actually a CDM, but then he's shown that he can attack. He's got 2 out of 2 goals. So yeah. Richard's also well liked. Yep, he certainly is, mate. Obviously played on the right again as well. So yeah, but yeah, moving on to the player ratings. Do get involved in the chat as well. So Keeley, let's say there was a few moments he come running out when he didn't need to. For me, the main one was in the first half when there's a defender there. But like I said, I've seen worse games from him, but it wasn't great. So I guess I'll just go over 6. And he did concede 3, even though that weren't really his fault, really. Maybe a last one.
Yeah, 6. I still think the third, communication with him and Bramwell or whatever, that was could have been avoided. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. He's still learning and stuff. He just gets this rush of the head. I don't know what it is. It must be just indoctrinated into him from playing in Premier under 21 shit. I don't know. Keep asking, did he do that at Leighton Orient that much? You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, at 6.
Yeah, see, I don't think he did because, like I said, when I spoke to Leighton Orient fans about when we signed him, as much as I knew, I guess, a decent amount of him because I watched him a lot last year for Orient anyway, they said his only, I guess, weakness is on crosses. But would you say we've really seen that? I wouldn't really say we've seen that. It's more so the coming out stuff, which has been a weakness since he's been at us. I don't mind when he does it when there's no defender there. I still panic just, because you don't really like to see a keeper going out that far. But then when there's a defender there, that's when it irritates me the most because you should be telling the defender, and he might be, but then again, it's all over the place. And one day, I'm sorry, he's going to come out. There's going to be a defender there. The defender's not going to get it. He's going to get done past, and we're going to concede the most silliest goal you'll see in your life, probably. I've got to be honest. And again, shot stopper, good keeper, but yeah, that he needs to just calm down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Just chill a little bit, please. Keeley 6, says Jackie. LTFC edits, 2 from Keeley. He was short. Yeah, he weren't the best. Like I say, I've seen, you know, in worse games, but yeah, that weren't great at all. Moving on to the right, Longwick. Again, I don't want to keep seeing him there. Especially starting games anyway. I wouldn't mind him coming on towards the end of the game there, but starting, I don't want to see it. I don't want to keep seeing it. It's just a similar situation with Makoso for me. You're trying to shoehorn a player into a position they can't play. And by the way, shout out to Caden. I had to ask him, because obviously a Huddersfield fan, that he was at Huddersfield. I asked him, where did he play for you guys if he weren't playing centre back? He said left back. That's it. I mean, he's played a few times on the left for us. But yeah, so he weren't even playing right back there. So, you know, I don't want to see it. I don't want to keep seeing it. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to have to give him I'll give him a 6 because it's not really his position.
I'll give him a 5.
All right, fair enough. 4, says LTFC edit. Jackie's gone 6. Oh, no, 4. Yeah, 4. Yeah. And then moving on we'll go over to Mengi. Again, not the greatest game. For me personally, and I said it when we were watching the game, as soon as he got I knew they were going to have a chance. And obviously, then he gave away the penalty. From that moment in, for me, and it is one, I guess, little criticism I have towards Wilshere and Powell, is we need to make the in-game management subs a bit earlier at times. Because you see in the Mansfield game, we didn't take Wells off. He done 2 mistakes. Bang, he should have been off from that moment on, that half-time. And in this game, as soon as that's happened from Mengi, I think he should have come off and Anderson should have come on. Or whoever defending. I don't care who. He should have just changed it. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to have to give him a 5.5.
4.
But what I will say quickly about Mengi, he did do a clearance off the line in the first half, which was good. But, yeah.
He just starts off all right and then just...
Yeah, always the other way round. I said it in the reaction. Always the other way round. He'll start off shit and then he'll do all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think part of it is like, you know, he say he should play at a higher level, but he's not showing at the moment. But you know, I think he's going to end up leaving in January anyway, personally. But yeah, I'll just give him a 4 for this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still think he goes. I do in January, if not definitely the end of season. I do definitely agree. Mengi wasn't bad in the first half. No, he wasn't bad in the first half. Like I say, he done that clearance off the line. But yeah, second half, as soon as he got nutmegged, I was saying to Jamie, he's going to, you know, they're going to have a chance, and he gave away the penalty, and then, yeah, that's where they got a bit of momentum. Jackie's gone 5.5 as well. Moving on to Naismith, like you say, Dad, it's a pretty poor game from him, but I don't know what it is, because I think he is better in centre-back than left-back, but then he's not doing much better in centre-back, so it's a bit of a weird one with him, and me personally, I don't see him getting dropped just because of that captaincy. I just don't see it for that reason. I'm not saying he shouldn't be dropped, but I don't know. There is games where I think we do need Naismith, like because of that leadership. Do you know what I mean? He's the one that's shouting at that back line. Because I do feel in certain games, if we don't have him, there's no leadership at the back. So, yeah, especially when you've got Keeley coming out like he does, the other one's playing somewhere that's not natural to them. I just think it'll be even worse, to be quite honest here. So, for me, I'm going to give him I'll go 5.5.
5. But, like you say, that leadership, he was a captain. He should be showing that no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, he weren't. And I don't know, he just doesn't seem to... I think it's a little bit of... I think he's more comfortable if he's got the seat, you know, the better centre-back next to him doing their job. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a bit of that as well.
See, that's where I think, like, Makoso being there could benefit him.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen they play in the centre, albeit of his back 3. I think it was against Barnet. And he was really good. I think Makoso could definitely play in the centre. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But Anderson, for me, has probably been the best centre defender so far this season. So a little bit surprised he didn't start, to be honest. But yeah, 5 for Naismith.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, for me, that's where Makoso should be playing centre-back. And I mean, when we was playing a back three and he was playing centre back, he was on the right. So to me, what if he could play right centre back? That's basically what it will be for him in a back four. He'd just be on the right side of that. So it's the same thing.
I mean, I don't know what Robbie Savage was saying to him because he was trying to get into players' heads. He was saying something to Wilshere, and then he said something to him at the end of the game as well. Like I don't know, something like that.
And he said something to Naismith at half time, didn't he? And Powell come over when we were coming out for the second half.
Yeah. I mean, if it was anything that got into his head, it shouldn't have been. Do you know what I mean? He's experienced enough, but I don't know. But you know, if we put one back, you've got to be the one who's going right. Come on, you know, let's sort this out. Like, you know, let's not capitulate at the back. And there wasn't any of that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. For me, the defence just needs to be to stop rotating it. I think we probably will end up sticking with Bramall now in that position because he's not doing too bad there, and that's his natural position. We just need to have to sort it out, and if it means dropping Naismith or putting him on the bench or playing him in a different position because he can play in other positions anyway as well. Do you know what I mean?
CDM.
Yeah,
he's another player actually. I know I said about Saville and Nakamba. And I mean, Naismith's another one because he played there briefly against Cambridge, and again, people go as lower league, but he done all right in that game.
Yeah, so we'll see,
and that's all we can judge him on. But yeah, no, I agree, and I agree with this comment here. Mengi needs people to cover him like Makoso because he'd be good then. Because that's the thing I will say about Makoso, right? When we've had, so for example, when we played a back three, and we've had Makoso as the right centre back. Usually, whoever the right wing back has been, whether that's been Kadawa, even Jones last year, I guess you could say, they've obviously went higher, done what they're good at attacking, and Makoso's covered that right side really well. So that's why I say he can play on the right, in sense of right centre back. Whether that's in a 4-4-2 or whatever we're playing now, it changes from a 4-1-4-1 to a 4-2-3-1 sometimes. Whatever it is, he can play there, whether it's back three or back four. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's just the right side. I think it's too much of an ask, really. And he's not slow, so be able to get up there, and we like our, players out wide to get up there and stuff. But I just don't feel it's beneficial, to be honest. That's how I see it. And then, moving on to Bramall. Yeah, I mean, he got man of the match in the stadium. Like I said, I don't think he done too much good or bad, to be honest. I think there was better players, and obviously we'll get into our man of the match and things. So, yeah, for him in this game, he was the best out of the four, definitely. So I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, same 6.5.
There you go. Moving on we'll go over to Saville. Obviously, he had a major part to play in the goal, the winning goal, obviously. And yeah, I don't think he was too bad. I'm glad he didn't get a yellow card because if he gets one more card, he'll miss whatever the game is after that. So if he gets one against Stockport, he'll miss the game after that. So I'm glad he didn't get one because I feel we need him in this game in particular. Especially given how Stockport are obviously doing. So, yeah, for me, I will say, I don't think he was terrible. So I'll give him a 6.5 as well.
Yeah, 6.5.
Bramall 6, Saville 8. Okay, that's interesting. LTFC edits, big up to yourself. Bramall 6, Saville 6, says Jackie. Moving on we'll go over to Walsh. There was a few good moments from him. Like I said, that tackle he done in the first half. He's going to be a good player for us if we play him right. But I believe Wilshere will because, like mentioned in the comments, they're similar in the sense of the way they play, when Wilshere did play, shall I say. So, yeah, for me, I'll give Walsh a 7.
6.5. Pretty decent. I know managing him, but, he's quite calm on the ball generally. I know we've seen that earlier on in the season under Bloomfield anyway, where he's giving the ball away, but generally, he's decent, and he's always looking for that forward pass, etc., and gives you that option, a bit like Clark. probably got better range of passing than Clark. But yeah, good to see that we've got him option to bring him on or even start him in certain games. So yeah, 6.5 for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 7, he was classy. Yep, I totally agree, mate. 7 says Jackie. Moving on to Richards. I wouldn't say it was quite the game he had against Northampton, but he wasn't, it wasn't bad. Obviously, he's still got to remember he's very, very young still, 18 years old. So, yeah, I thought he was all right. I'll just give him a 6.5.
6.5, decent. Looking better each game. Confidence is growing with him. Involved in the first goal, and the build up previous to that very similar. Again, always looking confident, taking players on, and it's just going to get better and better. But yeah, 6.5.
Literally, as soon as you said taking players on, this comment come through from LTFC edits. Yeah, no, yeah, I like that. I like that he does that. And to be fair, he's an option on that right hand side at the moment. Obviously, we've got loads of options there, which is great. Kadoa can play there. Obviously, Jones, obviously Richards is showing now that he can. So he's another option there, which is good to see. But yeah, we shall see. Where he goes as the season goes on there. Jackie's gone with a 6.5. Moving on to Lamine, close man of the match for me. Not quite man of the match though. 2 out of 2 for him. Great finish. And yeah, just some of the stuff he was doing. He looked really, really good. Him and Wells obviously linking up well in the game. Wells set him up at one point. He set Wells up at one point. So yeah, fair play to Lamine. He's looking good. He's looking like what he looked like, I guess, in that Boreham Wood game, to be honest. And hopefully he can kick on now with 2 out of 2 and be a major part of the team. And let's be honest, competitively, other than the last 2 games, we haven't really, I wouldn't sit here and say we've seen enough from him, but now we could see that, after these 2 games, and hopefully he can build on it now. So, yeah, for me, close man of match for me, I'll give him a 7.5.
I'll give him a 7. I think we're starting to see the best of him. He's enjoying his football. Hopefully he doesn't go because, a lot of clubs are looking at him. He can shoot, he can pass. Do you know what I mean? He can tackle. We're seeing what we actually signed him for, initially. And he sort of basically should be starting the way he's playing, getting involved, goal contributions, crosses, everything like that. So yeah, 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for putting the heart in the chat. Spamming it. I don't actually know what it does, by the way, on YouTube. I'm not going to lie, but thanks for doing it. I can see it. But yeah, 7 says Jackie. LTFC edit says it was good. He missed a chance, then scored an unselfish assist. Yeah, exactly. And you've seen, I wouldn't really say in our team, but just in football in general, right? I mean, a great example was Mo Salah the other week when Liverpool played Frankfurt. He should have passed it to Wirtz, and he just took on the shot. And Lamine could have done the similar thing in that situation, but he didn't. He, like you say, unselfishly passed it to Wells to get a goal for the confidence. So yeah, fair play. And then moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Jones. Again, obviously major part in the one of the goals, and he was decent. He was decent. Not quite the impact of obviously the Northampton game, but there were still good moments on that left hand side from him. So I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, he's been out for a while, so easing back in, but yeah, involved in the winning goal. Well, sorry, not the winning goal, the second Wells goal. Good play from him, and he's essentially keeping Ali out of the team at the moment. So yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. LTFC edit says he was quite good, 6.7. Big up to Ollie in the chat. Jackie's gone with a 6.5. And then moving on to the last player out, the starting 11, Wells, 2 goals, right place, right time. Could have got a hat trick as well, like I said in the reaction. Did have that shot, didn't he? That was over the bar. That was very, very unlucky. That would have been a great goal, to be honest, if that went in. But yeah, like I say, hopefully he gets the confidence now. But yeah, man of the match for me, like I say, so I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, it's man of the match for me as well. I'll give him a 7.5. Good positioning, good forward play where he could, looking confident, enjoying his football again, smile on his face. That long range shot would have been nice, but this is what we signed him for, his experience and things like that. And you can see him and Yates both adding that now in their sort of movement in the final third and things like that. So yeah, 7.5 man of the match.
Yep, there you go. There's Wells' first 2 votes of the season from us. Let's see if he gets any more from us as the season goes on. But yeah, in terms of the substitutions, El Hamadi, I mean, me personally, according to Transfer Market, he can actually play on the left. He can play on the left and the right. Didn't know that. I thought he was just solely a striker. So it goes back to what you said earlier, Dad, regarding him on the left. But yeah, I mean, he played a part in the goal, the final goal. And again, I don't want to be critical of him because obviously he ain't played for a while. So yeah, and at the time, I didn't really think he could play there, but obviously he can play there apparently. So I'll just give him a 6.5.
6. I'm glad it's back. He can play any. For me, I'd say he can play anywhere. Like I think he's played centre forward, and people are just saying, right, that's it. You've got to look where he can play and what he's done, and if he comes in from them channels and sets other people up, actually, it could be beneficial to have him on the left over other people, especially when he can finish himself. So yeah, good to see him back, and I'm sure he'll end up getting a few goals at some point anyway. But yes, just give him a 6 because he was on the pitch for a major amount of time.
Yeah. Wells 9. His shot was so good. Yeah. Just missed. Yeah, it was unlucky. Ollie says it's a big confidence boost. Yeah, 100%. Sub 6. Jackie's just done it all in one. And yeah, I will give Hakeem a 6 because he come on after we got the 4th. So I can't really judge that. Yates. Yeah, I'll go 6 as well. Nelson, I'll go slightly higher, 6.5, because he won us a free kick and he had some good passages of play. So I'll go slightly higher for him. And then Kadoa, 6.5 as well, because he got the winning goal. So, yeah, your ratings for them, Dad?
6 for Nelson, 7 and 7. 7 for Yates, 7 for Kadoa, because they were both.
Oh, yeah, and Yates got the assist, sorry, yeah.
Imperative, really, in that goal. And, were hungry and were our game changers. So I'll have to give them both a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So they are our ratings. So yeah, Wells has got 2 votes. As for the points, because Jackie, I know you don't really go on the Discord, I will tell you them in particular. So no one got it spot on. There were stages where, well, I mean, you could have got it right at one point, nearly, Dad. I actually had it spot on at one point, 3-1, but obviously that weren't to be. So I'm on 6. You're on 4, Dad. Jackie, you're on 9. Rich is on 5. Paul's on 9. I know Paul probably watches back. Stephen's on 10. Tom is on 1. Phil's on 2. Andy's on 2. Darth Vader's on 10. So it's still joint top between Stephen and Darth Vader at the moment. Ben's on 8. Terry's on 8. Dave's on 6. Blitz is on 6. Chat GPT is also on 6. And then Jamie's on 7. So we actually all gained a point. And like everyone that done it for this week. So they are the points. So yeah, that's the points for this week. So yeah, the closest one was probably 3-2, Jackie, which was you, to be fair. You and Rich, to be fair. I'd say they were the closest. So yeah, that's that when it comes to that. So we'll see how it goes for obviously the Stockport game. And yeah, we're doing for all the major competitions. Obviously, we're out of the League Cup now, but we're doing for all the FA Cup games until we probably get knocked out. And then obviously we'll do it for the league as well. And if we do get to the final of the Virtue Trophy, we'll do it there as well. So yeah, that's how we're going to do that. But yeah, Dad, one last thing before we wrap up, which I did want to talk about, a player who's getting a lack of minutes. And can you see too much in it? Obviously, there's been a bit of conversation about Lassie Nordos' lack of minutes. Do you think he's in Wiltshire's future plans?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it depends how assessed, all this talk about he's not really ready for League One football, English football. I think he is. I've seen enough about him. But it's going to be interesting now, with especially if Brown's fit and doesn't go anywhere. Elijah's nearly fit, doesn't go anywhere. I don't think Elijah will be going anywhere in January anyway. Yates and Wells starting to play, but Al Hamadi, he's down the pecking order. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I've got a feeling he may go out on loan, but we'll have to wait and see. If he's not getting the minutes, and we seem to be doing that at the moment. I think it's based on data or what. So we've done it with Woodrow. He wasn't really getting the minutes, was he? And then we were saying, yeah, but he's had opportunities. But you need consistently to start games sometimes, and he's doing bits at Wickham. Obviously, he's probably their main threat at the moment. So luckily, when we play him, he won't be playing. So but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. It's hard to kind of tell. But I know he's good with young players and that. And there's for me, I've seen enough of Nordas to keep pushing him and to be in and around the club. But we'll see how far if the other players start performing. And Brown stays and Elijah comes back, then he's obviously he's going to be down the pecking order, isn't he? So in that case, he could be on his way. You never know, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I looked in particular when he missed that chance against the Brighton under-21s. He looked absolutely devastated, as if it's sort of like as if in his mind someone said, right, if you don't score this, you're not really going to get a load of chances. And the thing is with him, it's like I've said, he's not going to, get loads of goals, but his link-up play is what is good. And I feel that can be beneficial. But the way we're playing right now, with the one up front, it won't be beneficial for him because, he needs to be setting up other players and things like that. If he's a lone striker, I mean, we've seen in brief games when he's played there, Cambridge in the Cup, Stevenage away, it's not really worked. And like I said, if the other strikers start firing, and a lot of them are coming back, El Hamadi, Brown spotted in training, doing some shooting, I don't see what happens in Nordas other than him leaving, unfortunately. And it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame, because I think there is a player there. I remember last year against Plymouth, he come on and set up Jacob Brown straight away. I think Brown come on straight away. Yeah, it's first touch. But yeah, they and that's what I mean. He has to have someone around him, another striker. Because I feel, like I say, one up front won't work. And that's another great example of that. So, yeah, I mean, Ollie says he could look for it. Yeah, maybe loan or something. Yeah, I don't know. The amount of strikers we got, it's a bit of a, I guess, conundrum, really.
Don't forget also, we're getting Ethan Archer as well, who's been, plays on as a left on the left as well.
I think he's been playing left wing back.
Yeah, I mean, where does he fit in? Because he's come out, or we're going to loan him out again because we've got options there now as well. But we got the Gillingham lad,
Gabode as well,
as well, who's looked pretty good, energetic and stuff when he's come on. So it's interesting, what's going to happen. But yeah, he could be right. But that's what happens when a new manager comes in sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll see what goes on as the season goes on. If he might come in some games or if it's going to be a lack of minutes again, we shall see. But any final things, Dad, you want to?
Well, we've won 3 games on the trot. 2 of them against lesser opposition than that. But this Stockport game is another big test for us. They've done well since they've come up last season. I think they come up. Decent manager, they're on good momentum. They've got some decent players. They're going to be on it, especially at their ground. I think I remember them being in the championship or whatever back in the day as well. Quite a tough team sometimes. So yeah, that's going to be more of a test to see where we are at. Now Wilshire's been, he's had a few games now. So it's going to be much more of a test I'm just a bit worried about the defence, man, to be honest with you. So we might need to be on it. Yeah.
I would say, even though, you know, at the time we played Stevenage, they were high flying. Obviously, if they won, they would have went top, and they did. I'd probably argue now, going into this game, because they're top, and they are at the top, unlike Stevenage at the time, who could have went top, and they did. I'd argue this is the biggest game of the season so far in terms of tests for us. You know, and yeah, that's the thing. They've got a lot of experience, haven't they? They got obviously Wotton is a very good striker. They got Norwood. You know, he's more than, you know, experienced enough. You know, the only thing I will say about Stockport is obviously they did get in low on loan. And obviously there was rumours of us looking at him. And obviously I don't think we did get him because Stoke can recall him. Maybe Stoke don't need him right now, though, given how they're doing. But that's the only worry I would say with them in terms of their squad. You know, he might get recalled in January. But in terms of elsewhere, you know, their squad is good. Obviously got playoffs last year. We did watch the playoff games. You know, they were very unlucky against Leyton Orient. Obviously, Keeley was in goal as well for Leyton Orient. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, shout out to Luton News, as you did speak on 3 games. I did want to read this stat out, actually. So Friday night was the first time that Luton have won 3 games in a week since the 2022 to 23 season, when we beat Norwich, QPR and Huddersfield between Boxing Day and New Year's Day. They did beat Derby, Bristol City and Coventry last term, but that was in 8 days. So, yeah, I think I remember 2 of them games. The Norwich game, I believe, was when Woodrow scored right near the end. The QPR game, I'm guessing it was the 3-0. Probably would have been the 3-0. And then the Huddersfield was, I'm pretty sure that was when we beat them 2-1. Their place when Reece Burke scored the winner out of all players. So, yeah, that's quite interesting, you know, looking at that. So, yeah, that was just a stat I did see earlier. That was quite interesting. And also, if anyone's interested in this, apparently, obviously, Wolves are on the search for a new manager. There was the rumours of the Rob Edwards stuff, like there always is when he was at us. But apparently, Gary O'Neill, who's a heavy favourite, has withdrawn himself from the process to become their next manager.
Didn't they? So
yeah, well, yeah, I think they did. Yeah. That's the thing. Well, just quickly, why do teams do that? I mean, Sheffield United done it wilder. They've got him again for how many? The 3rd or 4th time? It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's slightly different because he's you know, we've done it and it worked, and you know, he's a Sheffield.
I mean, we've done it twice though, didn't we? They've done it like 3-4 times.
Yeah. You know, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, fair play to him for.
And look how they're doing. Sheffield
United. So you know, and you're in a worse state now. So no, I ain't taking that on. And yeah, we've just had the reflow derby. So now, you know, Saturday it's going to be the Hatters derby.
Oh yeah, so, good shout. Yeah, the battle. They keep saying the battle for the real Hatters, but like I say, defensively we got to worry. Let's be honest. Yeah. You know, so we shall see what goes on in that game. But obviously, we'll do a preview on Friday. Get into it, and it's a normal time kickoff. You know, 3:00. Feels like so long since we've had one of them, even though it's not actually been that long. But yeah, we'll obviously get into that then, things like that. So yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash a like if you haven't already. Obviously, do smash a like if you're watching back on playback as well. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, do subscribe to the extra channel as well. Follow me across all my socials. And yeah, it'll just be YouTube shorts out throughout the week. Up until Friday, when obviously we get into what Wilshere said in his presser and everything like that, and just preview the Stockport game, how we feel going into it, lineups, everything like that. So yeah, big up to everyone, and yeah, until then, take care and peace.